These are the top 15 best pack-a-punch weapons to currently be using in Modern Warfare 3 zombies. In this video, we're going to show weapons that are good for taking down normal zombies, bosses, the Mega Abomination, even the Red Worm World Boss, and weapons that are all around good for everything. Now, something to note, even though I have pack-a-punched all 120 plus weapons in the game, I haven't done the full in-depth testing for every weapon like I would like to, just because of how many weapons there are. So in the future, as we get new weapons, buffs, nerfs, and I learn more about these, I am going to be making an updated video. So if you want to see a season 2 version of this video, make sure to unlock that subscribe button. And with that being said, let's roll right in. Starting off in the number 15 slot, we've got the PDSW 528. And the main reason this is on the list is because the special ability it gets when you pack it. If you look at our magazine size, right now it's 50. However, the second we pack it, it gets 8 times bigger, giving you 400 bullets before you have to reload. Most weapons in the game only double the mag size when packed, or maybe triples the size. No other weapon in the game gets remotely this amount of extra ammo in the magazine when you pack it. And on top of having 400 bullets, look at how quickly you're able to reload this. So not only are you not going to be reloading often, but when you do reload, it's only going to take a few seconds. However, there is a reason this weapon is number 15 on the list. It's got a few pretty big downsides. One is the reserve ammo for this weapon is not that much. So if you're not constantly paying attention and looking for ammo on the ground or going to ammo crates, you might find yourself in a situation where you're completely out of ammo quite often. Now, if this was the only issue with the weapon, it would be higher up than number 15, but unfortunately, it's got another pretty big issue, and that is its overall damage output. As you can see here on these tier 3 zombies, it doesn't have near as much damage as the other weapons on this list, which doesn't mean it's unusable. I still find this is a very good weapon, and there's a lot of reasons to use it, but those reasons are mainly when you're playing in the tier 1 and 2 zones. If you're going in game and you really plan to stay in tier 1 and 2 and you're not going to be doing any tier 3 farming, that's what this weapon excels at. It is one of the best weapons to be using in the tier 1 zone and the tier 2 zone. But bringing it into the tier 3 zone, you can quickly see that the damage output of this, even when fully upgraded, just isn't there compared to other weapons. Now for our class setup on the PDSW, but something I need to explain real quick before we move into any of these class setups. These are very player dependent. Some people like to hip fire more, some people like to ADS spam, and depending on your playstyle, the attachments you use can be wildly different. So these are just my personal recommended classes that I use for my weapons in game. You might have to tweak this a little bit for your playstyle. For the PDSW, I've got a little bit more of a hip fire style build. For the laser, we've got the Point G3P04. For the optic, and this is the optic you're going to see me running on every weapon that it's available for. This is my favorite optic in the game. We've got the NYDAR Model 2023. However, if you don't like this sight, use whatever you feel most comfortable with. This is a very subjective thing in COD. For the stock, we've got the hollow extended stock. For the comb, we've got the TV tack comb. For the rear grip, we've got the Bruin Q900 grip. Coming in the number 14 spot, we've got the BASB, which has been a fan favorite for a lot of people since the launch of the zombies mode. Once we pack it, we get 90 bullets in the magazine. And tier 1, it absolutely fries, but so does every weapon, even the PDSW. Now, where this weapon really shines is in the tier 3 zone. It's really good at killing higher health zombies, pretty solid for doing damage against bosses, and it has the bonus of being able to use the underbarrel shotgun. And every single weapon on this list that you're able to put this on, I am going to be putting it on, because it allows you to have that extra backup. And even in the tier 3 zone when pack-a-punched, this underbarrel shotgun one-shot zombies. So if you run out of ammo and you've got a zombie near you, you can switch to it really quickly instead of reloading, take care of the threat, and now you've got that additional time to reload. So instead of putting the underbarrel shotgun on the list, I'm just going to recommend it on every weapon that can use it on this list. Now for the BASB, these are the attachments I prefer. For the laser, we've got the F-Tac Grimline laser. For the optic, once again, NADAR Model 2023. For the rear grip, we've got the Tourney Tac grip. For the magazine, we're running the 45 round mag, and for most weapons, I'm almost always going to run the biggest magazine. I find that the best way to build weapons in zombies. Then, like I said earlier, we've got the Cronus underbarrel shotgun, and any weapon that I can put this on, I am going to be equipping it for. Number 13 on the list is the SVA 545. This overall is a lot like the BASP, but I think it's a little bit better. And this weapon also has a special way to use it to get the max amount of damage. So with this weapon, your first few shots do more damage, so you can actually kill zombies and do more damage if you tap fire this compared to just holding it down full auto. As you can see here, we shoot a lot more bullets and do a lot more just overall damage when tap firing, because those first set of bullets come out faster. You can full auto it if you want to, but if you're trying to maximize with it, you do want to tap fire, and it does have that crazy powerful underbarrel shotgun as well. Once again, this is another weapon that's insanely good against tier 3 zombies and higher. and it does a lot of damage to the boss as well. The main reason I prefer this over the BAS-P though, as you can see, this has 120 rounds in the magazine, whereas the BAS-P only had 90. So great damage, great mag size, overall really solid weapon to use. Just make sure if you're using it in a big horde of zombies, you're tap firing it, that way you're getting that maximum amount of DPS. Here's the class setup for the SVA 545. For the laser, we've got the FFS OV laser. For the stock, we've got the MACV R11 stock. The rear grip is the Citadel grip. Magazine is a 60 round mag. Then we've got the underbarrel shotgun on it. Number 12 on the list is the longbow sniper rifle. And I know this doesn't look like a sniper rifle and it's got a 40 round mag, but yeah, this is a sniper rifle that's got a 40 round mag, and it does get an additional ability when you pack a punch it. So normally it's semi-automatic, but once it's packed, it is now full auto. So you don't have to constantly pull the trigger. In tier 2, it is a one shot. I'm pretty sure even if we shoot him in the leg, yeah, anywhere you shoot a zombie in the tier 2 zone, they're just gone once it's max upgraded, which is pretty ridiculous once you take into the fact that it's got 80 rounds in the mag. And even when you take this weapon into the tier 3 zone, it performs really well against zombies as long as you're hitting the upper body or headshots. If you hit them in the foot, this weapon doesn't do as well. And it also takes out bosses really well. Here's a disciple, and you can see a few shots in and it's gone. Also puts in some pretty good work against the Mega Abomination. Here's our class setup for the longbow. For the optic, we've got the slate reflector. For the stock, we've got the no stock. The bolt is the SAM quick bolt. The rear grip is the Citadel grip. Then for the magazine, we've got the 40 round mag. In the number 11 spot, we've got our first LMG, the I'm going to call it the PKM because that's easier for me to pronounce. And we're running the aftermarket part on this, which makes it so you run faster with it and it ups the fire rate. And the negative downside is supposed to be that it gives the weapon more recoil. However, as you can see here, the build we have for this weapon, it doesn't have much of any recoil. When we go ahead and pack a punch this, we now have 400 rounds in the magazine and 800 in reserve. And this is what it does to tier 2 zombies. Well, there's a tier 2 mimic, and yeah, tier 2 zombies when max upgraded absolutely get annihilated. Usually the biggest downside for an LMG is you run slowly with it. However, look at how quickly we're running with this using this aftermarket part. It is a pretty fast LMG with a lot of ammo and a lot of damage. It makes quick work of tier 3 zombies and higher. It's really good against bosses. As long as you still have ammo, you can just mow down anything. However, that's the downside. Once you have to reload this, it is still an LMG, and the reload is pretty long compared to other weapons. It's not crazy long, but compared to the SMGs and the other weapons we showed in the video, it could get you down, and it is going to be an issue with this weapon in some scenarios. Here's our class setup for the PKM, the most important one being the conversion kit, the aftermarket part, the Jack Annihilator Bullpup kit. This gives you a ton of pros, and the cons don't really affect you too much in game. Then for the magazine, we've got the 200 round belt. For the underbarrel, we've got the Bruin Heavy Support Grip. For our optic, we've got the Model 2023. Then for our stock, we've got the Harbinger Economic Recoil Pad. Now, my pick for the number 10 spot might be a weird choice for a lot of people. I've got the combat knife in this spot, and if you use it against zombies, it's pretty bad. I would not recommend taking out tier 3 zombies with this weapon, even when it's fully upgraded, because it takes 2 hits and it's a very slow knifing weapon. However, this is extremely powerful when used against bosses. So here's a tier 3 mimic, and if we go up to it and we knife it 2 times, it is gone. 2 knives, mimic dead. Now for a tier 3 Mega Abomination, throw down a decoy so the zombies leave us alone. Make our way to the Mega Abomination, and we just start slicing. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. Few more slices up in here. Oh, and it's gone. Just like that. Didn't even really get scratched. As long as we have a decoy, throw it down, just start knifing, and you just take out a Mega Abomination. All right, here we go. Here's Stormcaller, one of the hardest bosses in the entire game with the combat knife. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not sure how many it is, but you can see combat knife legitimately makes him go away. He does not live long. You just gotta slice him a few times. Stormcaller dies, falls to the ground, you get the loot. So that's why, in my opinion, the Modern Warfare 2 combat knife has earned its spot at number 10. It's not the best primary weapon, but it's probably the best backup weapon in the entire game. You have your primary weapon for taking out zombies. Then when you run into any boss in the game, you switch out to the knife and you take out the boss, then switch back to the primary and continue mowing down zombies. It is so good as a support weapon. Here's the class setup for the combat knife. As you can see, tons of amazing attachments on this. Number 9, we've got the Ram 7, and when Pack-a-Punch, this has some of the most insane damage for a full auto weapon. You can see in tier 2, it's absolutely deleting everything it comes across. Even in tier 3, this weapon just makes the zombies disappear, but this weapon does have an issue. The reason it's not higher up on the list, once again, it does not have a ton of reserve ammo. And if you are not really making sure you're picking up all the ammo off the ground and you're not looking for ammo crates, you are going to run out of ammo with this weapon quite often. And that issue gets multiplied when you're playing in a team of 3 because ammo drops are not for everyone. And ammo drops down. If a teammate takes that ammo drop, that's an ammo drop you don't get. So in solo play, this weapon's a little bit more effective because you can make sure you get all the ammo drops. But when I use this weapon in co-op, I do have issues where I'm finding myself with no ammo. Another cool thing, once again, this weapon's got the underbarrel shotgun, which is always a benefit. So when you do run out of ammo, at least you have a backup to get you to an ammo crate to get some more. Or you could also use the underbarrel shotgun to kill a few zombies and see if they're able to drop some ammo for you. It's also very usable when used to take down bosses. If you're taking down a Mega Abomination, you better hope it's near an ammo crate, though, because you're probably going to have to go get ammo a couple of times. Class setup for the Ram 7. For the barrel, I've got the XRX Core Mark 40 Heavy Barrel. The optic is the Model 2023. For the stock, we've got the ultralight pad. The magazine is the 60-round drum. Then the underbarrel is the underbarrel shotgun. Coming in at the number 8 spot, we've got the TAC Eradicator, the DLC LMG. Go ahead, pack a punch this. 300 round magazine, pretty decent mobility, but most importantly, really high fire rate and some really good damage. Tier 2 zombies disappear. Even with the insane fire rate and the crazy amount of ammo this has, it's still one taps in a tier 2 zone. Yes, one taps. Meaning with one magazine of this, we could technically kill 300 zombies if we only shot them in the head. 300 zombies, one magazine. And this thing keeps the same energy when you try it against tier 3 zombies and higher. Also very potent when it comes to taking out bosses, including the Mega Abomination. The only real downside of this weapon is since it's an LMG, it's a little bit slower than the other weapons on this list. So you do have to account for that. But the DPS this weapon has more than makes up for that. Here's the class setup for the TAC Eradicator. The barrel is the Exler 84 short barrel. The laser is the FTAC Grimline laser. Underbarrel is the XRX Edge BW4 hand stop. Magazine is the 150 round drum. Then the rear grip is the FFS comb grip. Number 7, we've got the Renetti pistols with the akimbo attachment, and this is a pretty underrated gem. I don't see many people talking about these, but boy, when they're maxed out, do they shred. Go ahead, pack a bunch of these. Now we've got 100 bullets in each one of them. That was a tier 2 zombie. Gone. Only took 6 of our bullets. Mangler gone. Zombies gone. Just like everything else we showed on this list, it pretty much deletes. One of the cooler things about akimbo is if you only use one at a time, you can use the other one while reloading. So when you're in an area where you don't really need the full firepower, you can just use one of them. But whenever you find a boss or you need both of them, you can switch it to wombo and start spamming them both. Makes tier 3 and higher zombies disappear. Same thing with tier 3 bosses. They go by really quickly. Even does really good damage to the Mega Abomination. However, there is one pretty big downside with these weapons. They have crazy DPS, but they're burst weapons. So if you're using this for an entire game and you're spamming both of these as fast as your trigger finger will allow you to, your fingers are going to get tired really quickly. And that really is the main downside. And if you've used burst weapons like this in zombies before, you know what I'm talking about. That seems like a small downside at first, but if you're grinding for hours, you're going to get tired. You're going to get really, really tired pulling this down every time you want to do damage. But if you're just looking for something that does insane damage and you're not worried about your hand getting tired, these are perfect for you. Class setup for the Renetti pistol. The barrel is the MLX short competition barrel. The laser is the X10 sidearm L400. The magazine is the 50 round drum. Trigger action is the Bruin Express. Then for the most important part on the rear grip, we've got the akimbo attachment. In the number 6 spot, we got the XRK Stalker. This is the DLC sniper rifle, and when pack-a-punched, this thing does a crazy amount of damage. You're able to just instantly one-hit all zombies in the tier 2 area, chaining one after another. This is a high-risk, high-reward weapon. For this weapon, you've got to be able to hit your shots. If you do, you're going to melt everything. If you miss, you're not going to do anything. Here's a tier 2 boss. Let's see if we can snipe it from a long... Yep. Yeah, just one hit, you know, no big deal. In tier 3, you're still able to one-shot zombies unless they have armored. Armored zombies are going to take 2 shots, and if the zombies line up, you can do quite a bit of penetration damage shooting through a bunch of zombies at once. Now, it's obviously a sniper, so you can easily pick off zombies at range, and they're not even going to know what's going to hit them. That's one thing that makes this weapon stand out above the other weapons, is the other weapons you really can't use at longer ranges. They're really meant for close range or medium ranges. But you get all the benefits of a sniper rifle with this weapon. It doesn't lose any of its insane range. So there's a disciple, 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot, 4 shots. Took 4 shots for the Disciple. Would have took less if we were close range because we probably could have hit headshots a little bit better. But sniping a tier 3 Disciple from far away is not something you can do with a lot of weapons. This thing, surprisingly, is also really good against the Mega Abomination. There we go. 3 shots, 4 shots. 4 shots in, and we've already taken away half of his health. I got you before you got me, buddy. But like I said, it's a high risk, high reward weapon. You need to be able to hit your shots for this weapon to be super potent. If you're missing a lot of your shots, it's not going to do a whole lot for you. Here's the loadout for the XRK Stalker. The barrel is the Handler LKP short barrel. The laser is the Coro Laz 44V3. The optic, I used the SZ Bullseye optic for this. The bolt was the XRK Stalker light bolt. The magazine was the 10-round mag. For number 5, we've got the Lockwood 680. And I know I've said in the past that the base shotguns aren't very good, but this one's an exception as long as you're running slugs on it. Because once we go ahead and pack-a-punch this, the slug shoots a lot of slugs. Yes, this is still slugs. It is just a buckshot full of slugs. So in a tier 2 zone, it's a 1-tap on zombies. And since we're using slugs on this, we get some pretty nutty range. So you don't really have to worry about being close quarters. And yeah, we just one-shot that tier 2 Disciple. One bullet. It's gone. Out for the count. Mimic, more like no more Mimic. The fire rate you have on this is pretty nutty as well. Look at how quickly we can spam this shotgun and just kill everything around. And here's what happens when we take it in a tier 3 zone. We can pretty easily take out all the zombies in front of us by 1-tapping. Sometimes the armor zombies are going to be a 2-tap. And we have a ton of ammo in reserve, so we don't really have to worry about picking up ammo. The one issue with it is you only reload 2 bullets at a time when it's packed, or 2 shells at a time. So the reload is a little bit long when empty. It also pretty much just deletes tier 3 bosses. There's a Mangler. Oh, but you know, probably should have cleared the area. Mangler gone. Here is the Mega Abomination. Wait for it to open its eyes and we can do a ton of damage. Come on, open that. Open that sucker. There we go. So overall, a very well-rounded gun that's pretty much good in any situation you put it in. Here's the class setup for the Lockwood 680. For the barrel, we've got the Lockwood Defender Heavy Barrel. The stock is the sawed-off mod. The bolt is the Express Light Bolt. The guard is the something X-ray skeletonized guard. Then for the ammunition, which is the most important part, we've got the 12-gauge slug. Coming in the number 4 spot is another weapon that got nerfed with Season 1, however, is still amazing. The Akimbo TYR pistols with Snake Shot. These got like 50% of their damage reduced, but even after getting a massive nerf, these things are absolutely insane. 1-tapping everything we see in a tier 2 zone. And even when you go in a tier 3 zone, these things don't care. You're still even able to tap armored zombies. Just out of the way, out of the way. And they've got a really fast reload. And if you cycle the pistols, you can always be reloading one. So you always have a weapon with ammo to shoot. But yes, even after the nerf, these things are pretty nutty against bosses, including the Mega Abomination. Go ahead. Oh, half health already. Half health. Boop, and Mega Abomination gone. So after the nerf, I still think these TYR Akimbo pistols very much earn their spot in the top 5 best weapons in Modern Warfare 3 Zombies. This is the build we were using for the TYR. The barrel is the ZIU-16 Heavy Long Barrel. The laser is the CS-15 Scarlet Mount Laser. The ammunition is the Snake Shot, super important. The trigger is the Odin's Judgment. Then we have the Akimbo for the rear grip, obviously. Now, my pick for number 3 is going to be pretty surprising for a lot of people. That's because it's the crossbow, and the crossbow got a massive nerf in Season 1. They reduced it by 80+ damage percent, but that was just for the thermite arrows. The other arrows didn't get effective, and there's another ammo type you can use that is still very good. This is the explosive tips, and it one-shot zombies in tier 2, but after you stick them, it then proceeds to explode and damage all of the zombies around them. So you can spam these at the ground, causing a ton of damage. This one might just be a little bit louder than the thermite tips though. You know, just a little bit, just a tad bit. And when you take it into tier 3, it pretty much performs the exact same as you just saw. You stick a zombie, that zombie's gonna die, and it's also gonna damage all the zombies around it. So if you're just sticking a bunch of zombies, they're gonna constantly explode, constant death. You do want to make sure you're picking the ammo off of the ground, because with the crossbow, it's a little easy to get carried away and waste all your ammo. But if you're looking for ammo on the ground, you're not going to run out. The one downside, the thermite crossbow was so good against bosses. That was the main thing for it. This is great against zombies. However, it doesn't have that same insane damage it used to have against bosses. It's still very good at taking out bosses, but nowhere near as good as what it used to be. Oh, there we go. Mega Abomination. Sticking with it. You can see, definitely possible. This is an HVT Omega Abomination, and we could take this out. If we use enough ammo, we'd probably have to go refill it, but the thermite tip would have taken him out 2 times already. Come on, a few more bolts into him. And gone. So even though this isn't as good as the thermite tips, it's still better than the majority of the weapons in the game. So even though the crossbow got nerfed, it's still extremely strong. You just got to switch the ammo type and you're good to go. Another reason this weapon ranks up so high is it's really safe to use in close spaces. You can go inside, and if you're just spamming bolts or any sort of hold objective area, you can live pretty long, and it's kind of hard to die as long as you have ammo. However, once the ammo runs out, you better go get some more. Here's our class setup for the crossbow. For the arms, we've got the Carbon Elite V3. The optic is the Model 2023. The underbarrel is the DR6 hand stop. The bolts are the most important part of this. You want to have the blast cap 20-inch bolts. These are the ones with the explosive tip. Then for the stock, we've got the Speed Track Echo. For the runner-up, coming in second place, we've got a jack of all trades. This weapon's really good at just about everything you throw at it, including the Red Worm boss. This is the WSP Swarm with the aftermarket akimbo attachment. And this is how it treats, tier 2 zombies. Even at range. It's an akimbo weapon, but you get pretty decent range on it. And this isn't like the other akimbo weapon that we showed, where it's a 3-round burst and you got to pull it down. These are full auto, so you don't have to worry about your hands getting tired. All right, making our way into tier 3. Take out that dog. Got a tier 3 zombie. He's gone. Another zombie gone. These weapons also give you really good mobility, allowing you to backtrain really well while shooting these weapons. Hi there, Mega Abomination. There we go. Almost half health. And this is from a fairly far distance away. Now, the one downside this weapon has is it doesn't have a crazy amount of reserve ammo. It's not as bad as the other weapons we talked about, but you really kind of want to make sure you're looking out for ammo crates, and you want to make sure you're picking up all the ammo you can get off the zombies on the ground. However, we haven't even talked about the best part about this weapon yet. This is the single best weapon in the game for taking out the Red World Boss Worm, which is currently the final boss in the game. You can take this out fairly easy solo using these. If you have a team of people, it gets a lot easier, but the amount of damage you're able to do with this, and with there being 2 ammo crates right next to each other at the world boss, yeah, this is, if you're taking them down, trying to take them down solo or with a group of people, this is the weapon I highly recommend. It is currently, you're not going to find a better option in the game currently. Extremely good choice for all scenarios. Just make sure you're keeping an eye on your ammo. Class setup for the WSP Storm. The barrel is the WSP Ruthless L barrel. The laser is the Hip Shot L20. Magazine is the 100-round drum. The rear grip is the Marauder grip. The most important part is the aftermarket part, the conversion kit, the akimbo brace stock. And finally, we're here. 14 weapons down, 1 left to go. This is, in my opinion, the single best weapon in the game, and it has been since it's launched. My opinion on this hasn't changed. This being the RGL-80. When you first spawn in game, it's garbage. It doesn't direct impact. You can't shoot the floor with it. And if you don't have PhD, you're probably going to end up downing yourself. However, once you get PhD and you pack it, you can kind of just shoot at your feet and you don't even have to worry about dying. That is why I think this weapon is so good. No matter what you're doing, it is just hard to die with this weapon because all you have to do is have the ability to shoot down at your feet. And yeah, I think we just took out a disciple. Haven't even had to look up. We're kind of just living. Reloading's pretty quick. The only time you could possibly die is if you're reloading, but even still, the reload's so quick where if you have speed cola, you just don't have to worry about it. Look at this, not even looking at the zombies, just running across, shooting at the ground. Now, taking it into tier 3, we're just going to go into a spore contract, which is usually, tier 3 spore contracts, usually extremely hard because the amount of zombies in close quarters, but we're just going to look at the floor and we're just going to, we're just going to shoot the floor. And like I said, it is so hard to die with the RGL. It really does make zombies easy mode because you don't even have to worry about aiming. Oh, there's a disciple. Don't worry. We'll spend an extra few shots on him. That is the one weakness of this weapon. It's not amazing for bosses. It is insanely good for taking out zombies. Doesn't matter how much health they have. Doesn't matter what tier of zombies. Doesn't matter how many there are of them. It is unbeatable when it comes to taking out zombies. Bosses, on the other hand, not the best choice for that. All right, one more spore right there. And tier 3 spore contract like it was a tier 1 spore contract. And luckily, this isn't one of the weapons you're going to have to worry about having ammo for because we're going to spam this down for a few seconds, and let's just go collect the ammo. And look at how much our ammo goes up. And we're back to full. You get over 10 rocket bullets every ammo crate that drops, which is a lot of kills. So you can be a little bit reckless with ammo with this because it's so easy to get it back. The RGL is also super good in the Dark Aether if you're trying to get those schematics for either the normal Dark Aether or the Elder Dark Aether. This makes the escort mission a lot easier because you can just kind of spam around it, keeping it alive. You might want to have another weapon for the bosses, though. That's the one thing in the Dark Aether this isn't going to take care of. The zombies will be insta-gone. The bosses might need a little bit of help, and that's kind of my preferred class setup. If I had to make the ultimate class setup for this game, it'd honestly be the RGL with the combat knife. Both of those weapons are two different extremes. The RGL is the single best weapon in the game for zombies, but it's not very good at bosses, whereas the combat knife is the single best weapon for bosses, but it's not very good against zombies. So if you have both the RGL and the combat knife, you got a perfect weapon for bosses, and you got a perfect weapon for zombies. And when I say the RGL is bad against bosses, it's not like they're impossible to take out. I've been taking out mimics. I've been taking out manglers with it in the tier 3 zone. So you can take them out. It's just not as good as other weapons. You could even take out the Mega Abomination if you wanted to. We could sit here and just explode on it a bunch. But you'd be way better off pulling out a different weapon for bosses specifically. I would not waste the time to take out a Mega Abomination with the RGL. Now, to truly show just how powerful the RGL is, we're going to walk into a giant horde of tier 3 zombies with no armor plates and just spam at the ground. Oh, wow, look at that. No armor plates in tier 3. Huge horde of zombies walked right into it, and oh, they're all dead. Like it was absolutely nothing. That was probably 30, 40 plus zombies, and we just directly into it. I mean, it is easy mode. These zombies are spawning back the sport contract, and we could just sit here and infinitely farm. And that right there wraps up our top 15 best weapons to currently use in Modern Warfare 3 zombies. Like I was saying at the beginning, depending on your playstyle, depending on what you're currently doing in the game and what you value, your list might be different than mine. But that was just my list. I try to explain each weapon as we used it. That way, depending on your playstyle, you'll be able to find what your number one is using this list. So in the comments below, let me know what your current favorite weapon is and why it is that case. And as we learn more about these weapons, as new weapons come out, and as we get buffs and nerfs to this game, I'm gonna make updated lists to try to keep you guys up to date on what the current best weapons are. So if you want to see videos like that, make sure to unlock the sub button. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Peace.
Lego unlocked. He's Lego unlocked. It's going to unlock all these camos.